Buckle up your pant legs, zip up your hats, and get ready to mourn some dead teenagers you've never met. It's time for Sounds About Light, a podcast about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. I'm Sam.
I'm Drew.
Did you hear me completely forget how to intro this podcast in the middle of that?
I thought that was just a lag again.
This is our second time trying to start the podcast, and the second time around, I was not ready for it.
Whoops.
That's fine. There's a lot of death this week, huh?
Sure is, yeah. Kind of all at once, but there is a lot of death.
You can kill as many teenagers as you want, as long as they are little shrimplets.
Yeah, if you kind of can't determine what their facial expressions are, or like really all that many distinguishing features, then it's good that you can kill them.
Yeah, I mean, they could be sad. I would never know.
Mm-hmm. They might be fine with it.
It's really impossible to tell. Has Dark Road started to pick up?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, well, it starts out pretty strong, ends fairly strong. Middle, still pretty slow.
Yeah, we do get some some completely unnecessary Agrabah adventures.
Right. But otherwise, we're great.
Otherwise, there's people dying left and right.
Finally. It's what I wanted the whole time.
Finally. Characters can only die in Union Cross and Dark Road because it's not violent when they're little cartoons.
Let's see. Yeah, do main characters die in the main series? Well, kind of Kairi.
I feel like the only proper death was Eraqus.
Correct. Yeah.
And then a lot of nobodies who then recomplete. Obviously, Clayton got crucified.
Yeah.
I think Clayton and Eraqus are the only full humans who have died.
Yeah, the Clayton thing is, to this date, one of the most violent things that has happened.
Yeah. We don't see it, but
yeah,
we know that he's splattered.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we start? Oh yeah, that's right. We start in the Keyblade graveyard, but not the Keyblade part. We start near the... It's the Remind area where the Master of Masters talk to young Xehanort. And the Master of Masters is... I would describe the way that he is looking at Xehanort as cute.
Yeah.
He's got his chin in his hands. He's just watching Xehanort sleep.
Yeah, it's a little weird to have an adult watch a kid sleep, but...
It's a little weird. I guess it's not sleeping. He's unconscious. Xehanort wakes up.
Oh, that's better.
Says, "Who are you?" And the master says, "What does it matter what I say? Remember that? That hasn't happened yet, chronologically, but the player will remember."
Correct.
He says that he was taking a leisurely stroll when he found Xehanort unconscious. The kind of things you do in the corridors of darkness when you're normal.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe this guy about that, but whatever, he did find him.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that at the end of this scene. It's really weird that he found Xehanort in there.
Yeah. Kind of makes one think that maybe he was there looking.
Yeah, I want to circle back to this once we have more context of what he has to say to Xehanort, but it's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
He introduces himself as a former Keyblade wielder, more or less. And Xehanort immediately pulls out his Keyblade to fight, which is classic Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Yeah.
I'm taking a shot in the dark guess here about what the Master of Masters means. I wonder if he, in the ancient Keyblade War, was wielding the Key Blade.
Oh, maybe.
There's a very odd thing that happens here, which is that Xehanort pulls out his Keyblade and then the Master summons it into his own hand. And the only person we've ever seen summon another person's Keyblade before was Riku near the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. And that was the Kingdom Key that was technically supposed to be his. So why would the Master have some kind of tenuous ownership over Xehanort's Keyblade?
Well, part of me did wonder if it's like, well, I used to have a Keyblade, but I bequeathed it to Lushu, who has now bequeathed it to you. And so your Keyblade is really my Keyblade, and that's why I can take it.
I guess it could be some, like, the future echoing into the past stuff, because Xehanort's Keyblade in the future for him is the Master's past Keyblade. I don't know.
That's maybe... or it's just, I don't know, if he's, like we've talked about, maybe not even really human or some sort of primordial Keyblade guy, Like, maybe he just has the power over every Keyblade.
Maybe. It's also kind of interesting. He calls himself a former Keyblade wielder, not a master.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That could be nothing.
Well, actually, I have a theory about that, which is like he kind of like is very skeptical of the mastery mark of mastery exam, which kind of says to me that like maybe back in his day they didn't have that shit, so like he wouldn't technically be considered like a master by these modern Keybladers.
He's a Keyblade libertarian. What's next? Needing a license to make toast in your own damn toaster?
Yeah, he is a guy that thinks that stuff, I think.
But yeah, he does say something when Xehanort mentions the Mark of Mastery exam. He is kind of like, the what?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I assume that is like Keyblade tradition that started in Scalad Kylum, not Daybreak Town or older.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
He gives Xehanort the black coat and says that this is an out-of-fashion garment. He has no idea how iconic it is. He says that Keyblade armor is more effective in combat, but this is way stronger against the darkness. And Xehanort replies, "Are you trying to sell me this coat?" Which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's really good. There's a couple times in this episode, there's a couple times where Xehanort like explicitly does a joke on purpose.
Yeah.
And so part of it, I was like, whoa, is like something we never realized about Xehanort, that he's a funny guy?
I mean, he's been doing funny fingers.
And I mean, I guess in the future he does do jokes. They're just kind of only for him because he's a weird creep.
Yeah. Well, now I'm wishing that we got a funny fingers origin story in Dark Road.
Which I guess we know another guy that does lots of jokes, and that's the Master of Masters.
Ah. Eraqus, check this out. I figured out how to wiggle my fingers.
Someday I'm going to be so funny and evil.
We got an origin story for him being bald. We might as well get an origin story for him wiggling his fingers.
I still can't believe that.
It was a sign of his resolve. The master says, "The coat is free. I just want you to take a peek into people's hearts on your trip. You know, people's emotions are complex. Sometimes they carry false light." And he gives a very weird, vague example of what he means by that, which is, if you love somebody, but you want something that is entirely self-serving that might hurt the person you love, then is the love that you feel for that person light, or is it darkness? And Xehanort is very confused, as am I.
Well, this actually, I think, is the theme of this game.
I think so. I feel like he just explained it very poorly.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
The master says, people with power typically harbor feelings of authority and judgment toward people who are weaker than them, while the powerless feel inferiority and envy. And Xehanort, are you powerful or are you powerless? And Xehanort says, I think that you shouldn't categorize people to extremes like that. I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. I like to think of myself as morally gray.
He sure does say that.
And the master says, do you know that stuff from experience? And Xehanort has no response to that, which is classic Xehanort. Yeah. So the master says, I'll be right here when you get back. Have fun. And yeah, okay. Now, I want to talk about the master being here at all, because we know that he has the Book of Prophecies, but none of this, as far as we know, is happening in view of the gazing eye. The eye wasn't in the Corridor of Darkness. It's not here in the Badlands. How did he find Xehanort?
I mean, I have some theory. I mean, one, it could be they're the same guy stuff. Or, you know, I think it could even just be like, I don't know, at some point in the future they're going to talk to each other again and Master of Masters is going to go back and find previous Xehanort. Or it could be some stuff to do with, like, he's the Convergence, you know? They talked about that, too.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the Convergence, I don't know, that's just something that he's always going to come across. Who knows?
I will say one thing, because I floated out the Master of Masters Xehanort theory. I had completely forgotten about the scene in Remind where he's telling Xigbar about meeting the Master, and he's like, I never did find out who that man was. So yeah. I think it's fair to say that that's not his past self.
Yeah, unless it's weird misdirection that he's doing.
Yeah, I guess so. Another thing about this being weird is that Lushu had a secret report in Kingdom Hearts 3 that said that the Master told him he would return after the Keyblade War when Lushu summons the Foretellers. So it kind of seems like the Master's going a little bit off the grid here.
Yeah.
We don't really know why. The one guess that I have about this, we can call this a mini crackpot corner, is that he was able to find Xehanort because his name has the recusant sigil in it, which has been used to track people before.
Yeah, here's a crazier one. We know Xehanort ends up like can be in other people's bodies and stuff. So like, and I don't know. He like appeared to die at the end of the game, but maybe he also is experiencing the taboo or something. So maybe this is just a future Xehanort in a different body.
Oh God, this is Terra's body again.
Yeah, or it's Sora's body, or I don't know.
Or like, yeah, Xehanort removes his heart and puts it into the nobody that is Demyx.
Yeah.
Yeah. If indeed the X in Xehanort's name is serving as a recusant sigil for the Master to track him, that would raise some big questions about Xehanort's life from the very beginning. Maybe we'll learn more in Missing Link? Who's to say? Anyway, that's the prologue of Episode 6, Uncertain Order, which begins properly in Agrabah in a scene that Jafar is looking nefarious while it looks like Iago is fucking a gear?
Yeah, I don't know what Iago's up to.
I don't know what... Was that animation supposed to be him, like, running to make this gear turn? It looked like he was thrusting.
I think it's that, but, you know, this animation sucks, so who could say?
Anyway, Jafar does some magic or whatever and says, "Who will show me how to get in?" What's this? Oh God, I haven't seen Aladdin in so long. He can't get the lamp for some reason. He needs someone to get it for him.
I think, like, if you're evil and fucked up, you can't get the lamp.
Okay. Well, he has this thing that shows him Xehanort, Hermit, and Erd to get the lamp for him.
Yeah.
We go to the Keyblade people. Xehanort mentions that Agrabah is, quote, the only world Master Odin has primed for us that we haven't searched yet. It's kind of said vaguely later that Odin needs to, like, open the routes to the different worlds or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really matters, but I did find it very confusing that they said it like this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it makes sense that they don't have that ability yet.
Yeah, maybe that's important later. Also... maybe this is worth mentioning. They were in Agrabah earlier, and there was nobody here, so I guess the world has woken up since they were here, like, 3 days ago.
Yeah, just on a delayed response.
Yeah. Erd is lost in thought. I feel like when we left off with them, they were still looking for the upperclassmen, but Erd has apparently convinced them to search for Eraqus and Bragi, I guess.
Yeah, that does seem to be what's happening.
I felt a little bit lost at the beginning of this.
I didn't think about that until you brought that up, but yeah, I guess they just changed their strategy.
Yeah. I guess since they met the ones in the castle, they were like, we need to find Eric. I don't know. Whatever. So this is where Erd starts to tell them about running into Vala and Vali, who Xehanort, of course, saw that, but she doesn't know that, and Hermit doesn't know about it at all. But then Jafar shows up, and he just, like, walks on screen and is like, "Oh, woe is me, the children will starve unless some cool anime kids go to the Cave of Wonders."
Yep. Yeah, which I think is, you know, he does something similar to Aladdin in the movie, right? Doesn't he show up as, like, the hermit and do, like, a similar story to Aladdin to get him to go do it?
It's been way too long, I don't know.
I think that might be the case.
Maybe. Hermit walks up to Jafar while the others are, like, silently begging him to stop. And he's like, "You need help?" And Jafar says, "Oh, I couldn't possibly accept your help, but yes, here's what you have to do." He makes up some lie that he's been, like, sending the soldiers of the Sultan into the cave over and over, but they just keep dying. And they're like, "Oh, that's terrible."
Yeah, they've all been getting their ass kicked really bad, so he needs these kids. Yeah.
Xehanort is actually the one who agrees to help, which surprises the others, and Jafar shakes his hand, and Xehanort looks perturbed, which I assume is because he is feeling the darkness of Jafar's heart.
Yeah, I was wondering. I wasn't really... That's a good catch, because I wasn't actually sure why he was making.
I mean, it's hard to even tell what face he's making, as we've mentioned.
That is absolutely true.
They go to the Cave of Wonders, blah, blah, blah. this is the part where the magic carpet sees them. I'm skipping quite a bit of, I have to assume, obnoxious grinding and fighting. The magic carpet sees them and starts following them around, and they all completely no-sell it, which is pretty funny, and it just gets sad and flies away.
Yeah, like that carpet was walking.
Yeah, and then we get the very silly gag of them seeing Eraqus, and they go, "Was that Eraqus?" And Xehanort says, "Yeah, he was walking like a carpet."
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, Xehanort's got jokes.
Xehanort's got jokes, and they're really weird. I don't hate it, though.
I don't hate it either. That's a pretty good joke, Xehanort.
Good gag.
I guess I guess this is more showing us how, like, that's what Eraqus brought out of Xehanort, and what could have been, if he hadn't gotten darkness in his heart right away.
I know, it's so sad. If he had only just gone to improv class.
If only his future self hadn't shown up as a stinky bag and got him to walk into a corridor of darkness.
Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, goes to the Destiny Islands, and before he goes up to his past self, he goes through Xehanort's room and finds a flyer for improv classes and tears it apart.
That's going to be the end of the last Kingdom Hearts game. Is going to be Sora actually keeping this whole timeline from existing by pulling that improv flyer back out of the trash and putting it on the desk.
Using the Keyblade to untear it.
Yeah.
Using the power of waking on the improv flyer.
That's right.
They catch up to Eraqus and Bragi just in time to yell at him not to grab a giant golden chalice like the cave told them specifically not to do. So in this scenario, Eraqus is basically operating on the intellect level of Abu.
Yeah, that is a weird reveal of this game, is that Eraqus was a big dummy.
Yeah, maybe Odin really whipped him into shape after everybody died.
Could be that, yeah.
All right, enough screwing around. You need to take this seriously. You're one of the 2 living Keyblade wielders.
It's true.
So they... Oh, that's right. Just because we're coming back into this from a previous episode, they ask Eraqus and Bragi, "Hey, I thought you were looking for Vor. Why are you going through this cave of treasures?"
Yeah, good point.
And Bragi's like, "Oh, a nice-looking older gentleman told us that we needed to find a magic lamp for him."
So we just
Xehanort's like, "Oh, that super evil-looking guy? Yeah, that's the one." I do like that Xehanort's like, "Yeah, don't trust that guy. I could sense his darkness and greed. We definitely should not give him the lamp." And Bragi's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's just leave." And I guess there's no point to us being here.
I guess we're just done.
But Erd says they should find the lamp anyway, because it seems like it's another one of these order items that's very important to this world, and the upperclassmen are probably trying to steal it. So if they find the lamp, they'll find the upperclassmen.
And they're correct.
They find the lamp, and they find the upperclassmen.
Immediately.
So it goes. Yeah. Yep. The moment they find the lamp, Vidar walks out of a portal and says, "Oh, hey."
Oh, hi.
Vor is also here. She's fine. Eraqus tells Vor that she should come back with them because the upperclassmen are disrupting the order of the worlds. And Vidar says, "Yes." And Vor says, "That's fine." She doesn't really seem too bothered about it.
Yeah, and I think when we find out more about motivations, I don't know, it makes more sense. But
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Vidar says something similar to what Vala said last week, which is that they are disrupting the order, but they hope to discover true light that shines in the face of chaos by doing so.
Right.
Bragi says that's a terrible, unacceptable thing to do, to use these worlds like this, but Vidar says anything is acceptable if it's a means to defeating the true darkness. And even Eraqus can't go along with that, so he's got a long way to go before he's trying to kill some kids.
Yeah, because it's a pretty bad and fucked up opinion.
Yeah. And Vidar reveals now that the reason that they're recruiting from the younger students is because he believes that they need 7 lights to replace the lights that they've lost.
Right.
So up to this point, we've seen 3 of the 7 upperclassmen. We know that they were trying to recruit Erd after Vor, so at least 2 of them have died, and then there's 2 more who could be alive or dead after that. So that's not good, in my opinion.
I don't think it is good either.
Hermod, who we know loves order, just has absolutely no patience for this and says, Vidar, what you're doing is horrible. And Vidar grumbles about it and goes into a flashback where Odin is teaching the older kids about the order. And we see that one of them is a girl with white hair who we must assume is Baldr's sister. And it will turn out that she is Baldr's sister.
Sure will.
Odin says, on your travels, you might not understand the order of each world, but don't upset the balance. And even if it seems like it's rooted in darkness, you don't possess the ability yet to distinguish between light and shadow, so leave it alone. Now, this is kind of interesting. I feel like this is the first we've really heard of not even being able to tell the difference between light and shadow. And, Sora has been our POV character for so much of the series, and he seems to be able to sense light and darkness, I think.
Yeah, but again, this is one of the bigger themes of this, and I think it's more what he means, like, this is where they talk about, I think this has more to do with the stuff they start talking about, which is, like, the order of worlds can be different than you think, and, like, what you perceive as darkness might not be perceived as darkness to the people that live here.
Right, and maybe the White Rabbit deserves it.
Maybe he deserves it. And yeah,
maybe Alice is just going to get what's coming to her.
And, like, I think this is really interesting, but it's funny because it seems to run counter to the entire rest of the story of Kingdom Hearts, which is that there is a definitive darkness and a definitive light.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying about Sora, is that Odin is saying you don't yet have the ability to distinguish between the light and the darkness, but maybe Sora just innately has that skill, and it seems like Xehanort has it too. Like, he looks at the Queen of Hearts and is like, no, you have darkness. You're a darkness lady. But maybe Vidar going to Wonderland would see the Queen of Hearts and be like, I don't know. Maybe the White Rabbit deserves it.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I thought it was more of like, you kids just don't understand nuance. But you're saying it's like, no, there's something that they just literally don't have in them yet.
Yeah, I don't know. There are, I think, with Baldr's sister clarified, there are now 3 students whose names we don't know yet, and 2 of them are really ready to just go around killing people, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, we've learned plenty. We could tell the difference just fine. One of them is very, like, berserker coded, and is like, if we see someone who thinks they know better, we could just knock some sense into them.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like in line with other characters we've come across before.
Uh-huh. To which Odin says absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he's like, that's cool. I like
it's
that.
Vala who is like, I think that we shouldn't run around attacking people.
Yeah.
There's a 3rd student, though, whose name we don't know. And this 3rd student says, I don't know, if we're too careful, it could cost us precious time we don't have. So we might as well just go around kicking ass.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, if these 3 turn out to all be dead, I'm starting to see why.
What do you mean?
Baldr's sister says, well, I think everything's going to be just fine because I believe in the light of people's hearts. She's one of those types. A nerd.
Yeah,
a
big
teacher's
nerd.
pet. Back in the Cave of Wonders, Vidar says that they were too focused on following Odin's teachings to protect what was most important, their friends who will never come back. And now I need to defeat the darkness at all costs to make sure that their efforts weren't in vain. So how about it, Eraqus? Here's the lamp. Do you want it? And Eraqus says, no. And then Vidar leaves.
It's kind of interesting. Game's getting kind of interesting.
It's getting kind of interesting. He's not very good at convincing people.
No.
Except Vor, who says absolutely nothing and just follows him. Again, I'm assuming that we're supposed to be seeing a conflicted expression on her face, but it's very, very difficult to tell.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like, I have, like, conviction look on her face, or, yeah, I do feel weird about this.
Yeah, that's it's either an I have conviction or an I don't have conviction look. Who's to say?
Well, that could be somewhere that, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, I like this moment for Eraqus, though. He's just kind of staring at the lamp, and he's like, I've talked a big game about eliminating darkness at all costs, but when I'm standing here staring down the barrel of a lamp, I just don't know what the right thing to do is. And Xehanort says, I don't think any of us do yet, but maybe someday we will when we're Keyblade Masters. And Erd and Hermit are like, yeah, I think we're in way over our heads. Let's go talk to Odin and see what he thinks. Eraqus is like, is it really okay for us to leave without settling things with that Jafar guy? And Bragi says, who cares? And then they leave.
That guy sucks.
I just love the idea of Jafar waiting back in town and just being like, where are they?
This is actually the inciting incident that made Jafar evil.
He was nice until now.
Yep.
We get a 1 year later flash forward. This is the scene from Remind where Xehanort returns with the black coat to talk to the master. Is there anything new to talk about here?
I don't think there was. Let's see.
I was surprised. Usually they show stuff and it's like at least a little bit like recontextualized, or there's like some new wrinkle to it. But the one thing that I did notice that I don't think I had noticed before that I did really like, though, is the way that the master is like, you know, like reddit.com/r/change my view, where people go, the darkness should be eliminated at all costs, change my view. And then people will argue with the person, and then the person just believes their thing even harder than before.
Right.
It kind of felt like the master was doing that a little bit. Anytime Xehanort's saying something a little bit fash, the master's like, oh, but don't you think that people could just do whatever they want? And Xehanort's like, no!
Yeah, I got the sense he's egging him on because he wants Xehanort to try to summon Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought it was
yeah.
It was funny seeing how he was kind of baiting Xehanort into believing even more than he already did. Sorry, I got distracted because I do have the Kingdom Hearts Fanon Wiki article from Marley open, and I do see the phrase, he didn't truly give a crud.
Just like Xehanort.
Yeah, I'm going to need to minimize that.
So, you know, watching it this way, I have one thing that I got out of this scene that is different when you see it like this in text, which when he says, my name is, and there's a blank, I was like, oh, the Keyblade is called No Name, right? Like, does he literally just not have a name? Or is his name just blank?
That's interesting. My name is No Name. My name is Keyblade.
Yeah, but yeah, he is the Keyblade. I think it's just if his name is No Name, which would be interesting. Or
it's a Kingdom Hearts 2 callback. My name is Photos.
Right, I was gonna say, or his name has been stolen by nobody.
But not just the word Demix. Wait. Anyway, that's the end of episode 6. The prologue of episode 7 is another flash forward. This one is 65 years later. This is Xehanort. He's taking Ventus somewhere. Oh, I think this is him taking Ventus to the land of departure after Ventus resurrected from connecting his heart to Sora.
Yeah, this is him dropping him off at Eraqus's fun daycare.
Yeah. He is taking Ventus there through a corridor of darkness. Interestingly, the clouds of darkness are completely ignoring Xehanort at this point. They are focusing entirely on Ventus, but they kind of just seem like they bounce off of him, compared to young Xehanort, where each time they hit him, it was like he was getting punched in the chest.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this might have to do with the darkness that he has inside of him already.
Yeah, I assume that's why the darkness is ignoring him. And yeah, the fact that Ventus seems kind of unaffected could be because, you know, he's like broken right now, or maybe it's just because there's no darkness for them to get in there. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, because it is. I did forget this is like right when he shows up, he's basically barely a guy right now. Yeah.
Xehanort narrates about how bad it is to do exactly what he's doing right now. But I do like when he says, a heart strong enough can resist the corrosion of darkness in the corridors, but it's of no consequence to someone who has closed off their heart as Ventus has. Pretty sure you did that, not him.
Right. No, Ventus did this for sure.
He remembers his first mentor, the hooded figure who raised him from infancy and taught him about the Child of Destiny, which we heard about last time, who he says can connect their heart to others and feel what they feel. and he kind of stands there with his arms open wide and tries to embrace the dark emotions of the corridor and wonders if he will finally be deemed worthy. So this is something he's been hung up on this literally his whole life now.
Right, yeah.
It seems like he has always believed that he is the child of destiny, but maybe he feels like he hasn't really gotten the destiny that he feels is his.
Yeah, this was confusing to me a little bit.
More on that later, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
He takes Ventus to the land of departure and walks off to talk with Eraqus while Chibi, Terra, and Aqua meet their new friend off screen. Chibi Terra is very funny looking.
Yeah. Oh, and I also, which I actually thought Kid Xehanort in the black coat was really funny looking too. I just think there's something weird about seeing like a young person in the black coat, and it's just way more obvious in the chibi art.
Which Kid Xehanort?
When he's talking to the Master of Masters.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So as Terra and Aqua inadvertently make Ventus scream about not having memories, Xehanort tells Eraqus, "Oh, your apprentices seem really cool. I'd like to be one of them." And Eraqus says, "Yeah, I've got some great apprentices. Better late than never, am I right?" Because this is like, he's been the successor of Keybladeism for like 50, 60 years, and it sounds like Terra and Aqua are the first students he's ever trained.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because the other games make it seem like he's a really cool guy, but this game is kind of setting Eraqus up to be kind of a loser.
Yeah, maybe we'll see why he became a loser in Act 4.
Yeah.
Or Episode 8 or whatever. Yeah, I'm always so curious, and I don't think we'll ever explain this, but I'm always so curious where he found Terra and Aqua.
Yeah, is that gonna, like, I would be fine with it just for once not being some Destiny stuff and just that they were just the most, like, promising kids of their generation or something,
Yeah, maybe. I wonder, like, did he like find them? Was he like scouting Keyblade talent in like Radiant Garden or something, and he kidnapped them? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, because like in his time, it seems like they would have been like recruited through like some sort of existing process, but now, like, yeah, is he basically a Jedi who like scooped them up from some place, like conscripted them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, it's not really his fault that he took so long to find some apprentices. Like, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Where is he going to find them?
They're all dead, and most people don't even know about the concept of, like, being a Keyblade wielder.
Yeah. Xehanort starts to apologize for scarring his friend's face, and Eraqus is like, water under the bridge.
We've all done it sometime.
Yeah. Eraqus says, "Oh, is that boy the one that you mentioned in your letter?" And Xehanort says, "Yes, I've been training him for the past year." I didn't know that was that long, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. He says, "I think that this boy is the child of destiny, and he deserves to study under a true heir to the light, not a stinky dark man like me." Eraqus has clearly heard of the child of destiny, so maybe this is a Keyblade wielder thing, maybe this is a Scala ad Kylum thing, or, well, if Xehanort learned about it on the Destiny Island, I don't know. Missing link. Who knows?
Yep.
But Eraqus is like, really? Could it really be him? And then Ventus starts screaming and they run over. Now we start episode 7, the poorly titled Reason for Disappearance.
It's not great. Do we think, like, Child of Destiny maybe refers to, like, Sora, really?
I think that it's possible that the Child of Destiny will turn out to be Sora. Could be Riku. They like to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, we don't really know what exactly the Child of Destiny even is yet. Yeah,
because it could be... Yeah, it's a good point that it could be Riku, because he was the one that was supposed to get the Keyblade and just kind of didn't because of reasons, I guess.
Also, when it comes to sensing the emotions of other people, Sora is a very empathetic person, but you know what he can't do? He can't sniff that darkness.
That's true. So...
Anyway, episode 7, Why It Bad. The students all reconvene with Odin, and they say, here's what we've learned. Vidar is doing this, blah, blah, blah. What do we do? Odin says, yeah, this is bad. Oh, I'm skipping over a big flashback, excuse me. They ask about the true darkness that Vidar mentioned. Is it possible that it is the formless darkness itself? And how would we defeat an enemy like that? And now we get this flashback. Odin is looking shadier and shadier by the minute. This is when he was talking with Vidar, which we saw a little bit of last time. And he says, the true darkness has never been defeated as far as anyone knows. But the Lost Masters allowed themselves to become vessels for it, which makes me think that they can be defeated as long as they are in that state. And Vidar says, well, what happens to the vessel then? And Odin says, a necessary sacrifice. Vidar doesn't like that.
That's bad. That's a good reason not to like it.
Not Era. I would be sad if Ased died.
Yeah. For them, I just think they meant more like, I feel like it was more in the context of their missing friends and stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
Vidar says, there's got to be another way. Odin says, no, this is a war, and it can't be won without grief and loss. Vidar says, but if we lose anyone else, I won't be able to face my friend. Unspecified.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, Master, is there another way? And Odin says, oh gosh, let me think about it. Well, it's forbidden, but there's this thing called Kingdom Hearts. Don't ask any questions, but here's exactly how it works.
I'm definitely not, pushing you guys to maybe consider making Kingdom Hearts.
It's absolutely forbidden. It would literally cause the apocalypse. Here's how you do it.
I don't think Odin's a good guy. I don't think Odin's a good guy.
No, I don't think so either. He says that it can be summoned with 7 true lights that shine in the darkness of chaos. As ever, there's about 100 different ways to summon Kingdom Hearts. Any of them kind of works, but also none of them seems to really work.
The only way that seemed to work was the way that Xehanort did it.
The way he did it in Kingdom Hearts 3 seemed to work, but then Sora killed that old man.
Yeah. And Mickey Mouse was epic inside of it at one point.
That's right. That's so cool.
Yeah.
He says, we hear a lot of this phrase here in Dark Road, which is that summoning Kingdom Hearts would purge the worlds, which is kind of what Xehanort has described it as, but a little different. And he says that it might destroy the darkness in the process, but it's an extreme approach that would have far-reaching consequences. Definitely don't do it. Here's my credit card. Just if you need anything at all.
Yeah. And here's how to go to Worlds, and I now turned my back and I'm no longer watching.
Here's the key to the secret library, and here's the button that unlocks all the gates. Please don't press it. I'm gonna go look over there.
Yeah, that's right.
And now this is even weirder, is that we come out of this flashback and Odin is talking to the lower classmen and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that summoning Kingdom Hearts would destroy all of the formless darkness. You didn't even say that to Vidar in the flashback.
Yeah.
I don't know, it might work. I don't know. Bye, Vidar. Then he goes up to the younger students. It would definitely work.
These Keyblade... I've been listening to a podcast that talks about Star Wars a little bit, and they talk about how much the Jedi fucking suck, and I feel like the Keyblade Masters similarly also suck.
Yeah.
Because they're all about, just getting people to do bad shit.
Yeah, and he's like, but you wouldn't really risk countless lives trying to summon it. Well, anyway, you made the right choice bringing this to me. It's in my hands now. I'll take care of it. You're all free to go. And then they leave, and he says to himself, the Dark Seeker will finally be upon us.
Which that's Xehanort, right?
Probably. Maybe. We know that Ansem has been referred to as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Yeah, true.
And the Xehanort saga is referred to as the Dark Seeker saga.
Right.
But yeah, if he's saying the Dark Seeker will finally be upon us and he is referring to Xehanort, then he's saying, in the grand scheme of things...
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Dark Seeker will finally be upon us 65 years from now.
Yeah. Okay.
They all head back to the plaza or whatever where they like to hang out. They all feel really weird and unsatisfied about what's going on, and they're also worried about Vor, who Odin knows that she's gone now, but didn't really say anything to suggest that he's going to bring her back anytime soon. Hermit is kind of trying to convince himself that it'll be okay now that Odin is dealing with it. But yeah, none of them really feel good about this at all. And yeah, I'm looking through a bunch of character stuff that's not super important. Where does the plot move along?
That could be the title of this episode for sure.
Ultimately, what happens, they're all kind of brainstorming about how they could gather more information without trying to like fully take it into their hands again. And Bragi says like, well, we can't talk to Vidar. The second best option would be the people who aren't here anymore, parentheses dead. And suddenly in that moment we hear a portal sound effect off screen, and who should walk into the frame but Baldr from whenever we met him.
Yeah, the guy that you keep saying looks demonic and you don't seem to like him.
I'm just saying he looks demonic. He's got like a white mullet and like bright white eyes. He looks creepy.
It is strange, yeah.
I mean, he seems perfectly nice. He didn't do anything. He just looks demonic.
Yeah, yeah. Although you say that, and I feel like I am... There's weird stuff going on. He seems like he knows stuff that other kids don't... I mean, he does know stuff other kids don't know, and it seems weird that he was like kept separate from them. I don't know.
There's definitely mysteries afoot.
Yeah.
And one of those mysteries is that he is returning from not Scala ad Caelum. He was away, which... I mean, I'm not saying this is suspicious on him. It could be suspicious on Odin, because Odin said to keep Baldr from finding out about his missing sister, he gave Baldr his own task, which I would have assumed meant I'm, like, keeping him busy with paperwork in his room or something.
Right.
But no, he's been out, and everyone's very happy to see him. He says that Odin's task that he gave him was investigating the different types of darkness. They all kind of catch him up on what's been happening. He says, well, hey, Bragi, I heard you mentioning talking to the students who aren't here anymore. And Bragi's like, yeah, that was, like, not a real idea. And Baldr's like, well, have you heard of Hercules?
Yeah, I perked up because I was like, well, this is a wild plan.
This is something that I have mentioned long ago on this podcast, is the idea that Hades' underworld is the afterlife in this universe.
Yeah.
And we do learn here that these other students who died not even in Hercules' world are, in fact, their souls are in the underworld.
Well, now, what's interesting is they are and they aren't.
Right.
It seems like it more has to do with Hades' powers related to the underworld allow him to maybe temporarily bring any dead person here.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate, because this is skipping ahead, but we will learn that these dead students did go to the final world that we saw in Kingdom Hearts 3. But yeah, Hades is able to retrieve them as if from the river Styx.
Yeah.
So maybe in the way that, you know, the fairy godmother said that she has power over dreams, I guess Hades has power over death, and it doesn't matter if that death is in his world or not.
I think that's what's going on, yeah.
Which is interesting. All of these things, again, just keep making it seem like the powerful magic people from Disney movies are basically the gods of the Kingdom Hearts universe. Like, yeah, Hades is the god of death from Hercules. He's also the god of death from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I mean, in a meta way, the Disney characters are the gods of Kingdom Hearts, because they're what lets it exist.
Yeah, that's how I've always referred to Mickey Mouse. So yeah, Baldr says that on his journey, he found this place called the Underworld, where people can talk to the dead. And Eraqus is like, oh great, we can go back to looking for the upperclassmen. And everyone's like, dude, shut up, Baldr's not supposed to know about that. And Baldr says, it doesn't matter, because I already know. Because after Eraqus and I talked about how my sister was had been gone for a while, I went looking for her, and I was in danger, and she died trying to save me.
Yeah, wild, wild, wild shit.
Turns out a lot has happened off screen.
Yeah, and also, and this is more me just being like, wow, Odin, fuck you, man, you suck.
Odin, you have killed so many kids.
You didn't have to.
We get the flashback. Baldr runs into Maleficent's throne room, where Hoder, who is his sister, the white-haired girl from before, is fighting Maleficent's dragon form. He tries to help, but Maleficent turns to attack him, and Hodor jumps in between him and the fire, and Maleficent seemingly just flies away so there can be a dramatic moment between them, and Hodor collapses and reaches out to her brother, and she disintegrates dead.
Yeah, I didn't expect this.
R.I.P. Hodor.
Also, I want to say Hodor from the famous Hold the Dur.
From Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. As always, sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baldr basically says, like, I don't know what happened after that. I guess he blacked out. Next thing he knew, he was waking up in the infirmary back in Scala at Kylam, suggesting that someone might have found him and brought him back. There was never a different task that Odin gave him. Or I don't know if he says that, because he is still saying that he was instructed to go research these different kinds of darkness. But when Odin told them that Baldr had this other task, he was just, I guess, giving Baldr some privacy so that they wouldn't worry about him and try to check in on him. He was healing from his injuries.
Yeah. I guess that's maybe the charitable way where Odin isn't evil is, he was just trying to give him space.
Yes, I mean, it's undeniable. There is a lot of very suspicious details in this story. He says that he was healing. From what? We didn't see him get hurt in any way.
Well, didn't he get a little bit blasted?
I don't think he did. I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he did. It's, as always, hard to tell in this game. But it's good that we don't know. Yeah. It's intentionally ambiguous what the animation was trying to show us.
Yeah.
So Baldr opens up a portal to the underworld. Hermod the Order Boy is very torn on whether or not to disobey Odin, but Xehanort and Eraqus just immediately run through the portal, so everyone else has no choice but to follow them.
It's kind of mean to do to your friends.
They arrive in the Colosseum. They all wonder how to get to the underworld from here, and they kind of just cluelessly wander into the arena.
Yeah.
And Hades shows up and says, you're looking for the underworld. I'll take you to my domain if you win the tournament of obligatory combat and grinding and pulls.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, fun. And I guess they get blasted off and they have no problem with it.
Yeah, we do finally get a little bit of characterization for Bragi, who I think has been kind of the least characterized so far, which I guess makes sense. He was like off on a little adventure with Eraqus off screen for a lot of it, but
true.
He seems like a guy who loves to fight. The moment that Hades shows up and says you have to fight in the tournament, he just whips out his Keyblade and is like, Eraqus, are you in? And I guess also Xehanort by extension, because Xehanort goes wherever Eraqus goes. Which Eraqus does not appreciate. Or Xehanort does not appreciate.
Yeah.
Anyway, they grind and wail and defeat the tournament, and Hades returns and says, okay, and teleports them all to the underworld. He brings Xehanort, Eraqus, and Bragi to his chamber, and he smugly informs them, I never said I'd bring you all to the same place in the underworld. Classic. He says, hey, why did you want to come here anyway? That's not usually how this works. And Xehanort says, we're looking for someone who disappeared. And I really, really like that Hades has no patience whatsoever for people who use euphemisms for death.
Yeah, he's like, you mean he died?
Yeah, he's like, I have no time for this baby shit. Your friends died and you want me to find them, okay? And they're like, well, he disappeared. He died.
I don't think this Hades is a very nice guy.
No. But they mention, I think, like, oh, the person we're looking for didn't die in this world. And we also don't know where they were or when they died or what happened to them. And Hades is like, he says, this isn't a cosmic lost and found. You can't just come and say, I don't know where someone is. Can you bring them here?
It's funny because he says that and then he just does it, though.
Yeah, Xehanort's like, whatever. Hades never agreed to help us beyond bringing us here, so I guess that's that. And Bragi is just like, no, that's stupid. Hades, help us. And Hades is like, fine.
You got me.
But he says, here's the catch. If I find your friends, one of you has to stay behind to be a pawn in my next scheme. He just says that straight up. And then he says, also, leaving is no longer an option. I'm going to do this whether you like it or not, and one of you is staying, or you're all staying.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, fine. Please find Hoder. And he says, okay, bye. And then we fade to black, and then we fade back from black, and he says, okay, I found her. Also, there were some stragglers who arrived with her, so go meet them. And he gives them directions, and they go. They are ambushed by Cerberus along the way. They are trying to fight Cerberus, just the three of them, but then Baldr shows up and says, Bragi and I can fight it. Xehanort, Eraqus, you go on ahead. This, again, is weird. Does he not want to talk to his sister? Something's not right here.
Yeah. I started wondering if he's maybe been like, this is an imposter or something.
Something's off. But yeah, Baldr and Bragi are both insistent, like, we can handle Cerberus, you go ahead. They do. They find Herman and Erd further down this tunnel, who, when they hear what's going on, they say, we'll go back and help the others. And Xehanort says, make sure Bragi's all right. So Xehanort clearly does not trust Baldr.
Yeah. Well, he can sense darkness, so maybe he sensed some darkness.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that something's off. Even if he can't sense anything, I think it's fair to be suspicious.
Yeah.
We do go back to Baldr and Bragi before the others arrive, and Baldr turns to Bragi after they manage to drive off Cerberus and says, the darkness is dense here. Your usual methods won't work. And that's the last we see of them for this part.
Yeah, what usual methods?
I don't know. Something's off.
Mm-hmm.
Something's off. And yeah, Xehanort says to Eraqus, like, something's bothering me, but I don't want to say anything yet. Hopefully it's just my imagination. But I did want to make you stress about it.
Right, yeah.
And then they reach the River Styx, and a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4 dead students show up.
Ooh, that's
sure enough. We've got Hoder. We've got the two hotheads who were talking about beating people up. Their names are Helgi and Sigrun. And then the one who said, we can't waste time being careful, that's Heimdall. And all 4 of them died at some point. I don't know if it matters that we know these characters' names, but there you go. They kind of explain their mission from Odin, and Helgi is like, since Vidar knows that we died, if you were told to look for missing students, then Vidar must never have made it back either, huh? So they're kind of worried that he might have died. Xehanort says, no, don't worry, he's just trying to cause the apocalypse.
Yeah, he loves you guys so much he's gonna destroy the world, maybe.
Yeah, that's all. So he asks to hear their story, and Heimdall tells the story. We're in the Enchanted Dominion. They learned about an evil fairy who cursed the Princess Aurora. More weird, suspicious implications about Odin, because Odin apparently sent all 7 of them to the Enchanted Dominion together, but then when he sent the younger students to look for them, he didn't say, like, go to the Enchanted Dominion, that's where they were. He split them up and sent them all over the place.
Yeah.
Odin!
Something wrong with that guy. Although, if he has darkness in his heart, would Xehanort notice? Who knows?
I would think so. That's actually a good point. Maybe this is one of those things where it's ambiguous. It's all a matter of perspective.
Right.
Maybe he has a very good reason for getting all of these kids killed.
Yeah, it's like he's a pure utilitarianist person. He's like, it's good if these kids die for some other reason.
I mean, I will say that is very, very Master of Masters.
True.
The Master of Masters, though, he said, I'm not sacrificing anyone, implying that he has some plan to save everybody. Odin's getting these kids killed. They're dead.
He's like, they'll be reincarnated or something. It's fine.
Yeah, don't start thinking any theories about Odin being the Master of Masters, because he's killing these kids.
I mean, Master of Masters famously started a huge war that murdered a lot of kids. And so, I don't know, he could still be Master of Masters being like, these ones will come back too. That's just 4 more, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. He insists that he's not sacrificing anyone, but it is a fact that many, many, many kids died in that war.
Yeah.
That war. It was one fight. Who cares?
Yeah, just one fight made entirely of child soldiers.
That's right. That also caused the end of the world. It's really not, it's not a war.
No. It's a skirmish.
That's right, the Keyblade skirmish.
Mm-hmm.
We want to recreate the Keyblade fight.
The Keyblade big brawl.
So Sigrun and Helgi, who are two of the dead kids, want to help the princess Aurora. Vidar and Vala remind them what Odin said. It's not our place to interfere. Let's all go to sleep for the night. They go to sleep for the night. The next morning, Vali, the ninja-looking kid who I don't think has said a single word yet, wakes up Vidar and whispers to him that Hoder is missing. And everyone wakes up. They all want to go looking for her. They're all assuming that she went to confront the evil fairy. But Vidar says, all 6 of us charging into that castle is just asking for trouble. So Helgi and Sigrun say, we'll do it. And then Heimdall says, I'll also go die.
Yeah. And you know what? I guess it shouldn't be surprising to find out how they all die.
Yeah. More stuff is off here, though, because they arrive in Maleficent's throne room as Hoder is fading away, but Baldr's not here. And they just hear her say, needs help, is all they are able to hear as Hoder dies. Someone's either lying or someone's memory is messed up or something, because Baldr clearly said that he was like standing right there as she died.
Yeah.
He didn't mention her saying anything.
Well, I'm mostly suspicious of Baldr at this point.
It seems like Baldr is the one to be suspicious of. Dragon Maleficent shows up and they attack, but Heimdall explains that they failed to defeat the dragon. Next thing they knew, they were waking up in a world of never-ending sky and ocean. They had lost their bodies. All they were was hearts. And Eraqus is confused because he was like, oh, I thought the enemy was formless darkness, but that seems like an extremely formful dragon that killed you.
Yeah, good point.
And Helgi says, yeah, that was just a dragon that killed us.
Yeah, just got killed by a straight-up dragon.
I mean, there's no shame in that. It is a dragon.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't considered the shame component of being killed by a dragon, but there isn't any.
Yeah. Eraqus is like, wait, you mean there's more than one problem?
Yeah, how could that be?
I mean, this is just how it feels in, like, Dark Souls to die to some random skeleton.
Right, yeah.
You're not the boss? What?
Oh, no.
You gotta be on top of your game always.
It's true. Eraqus needs to become a better gamer.
He's gotta go to Wrecky Ralph. Heimdall says that as they found themselves without bodies, they realized something, and that is that the light and the darkness in people's hearts is not as clear as they had always thought it would be. I don't really know where that thought is coming from. Maybe this is a out-of-body, third eye experience. I don't know, but...
Yeah.
Helgi says, darkness is often in the eye of the beholder. If you believe that your way is right, anyone with conflicting beliefs can appear corrupted by darkness. So I think what he's basically saying is, Maleficent, it was... very literally castle doctrine. She didn't do anything wrong.
She did murder 14s.
Well, self-defense.
Is this the
Except
first time
not really, because when they ran in, she wasn't even there.
True. Is this the first time Maleficent has killed people on screen for us?
I think it is.
Yeah.
There you go, Maleficent. You're on the board.
You're not up there with Sora yet, but you'll get there.
No, he has killed many a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Heimdall says, I wonder if there's a way for everyone to coexist despite their conflicting beliefs. Centrist detected.
It's a centrist game, like all games.
I don't like that.
No.
Xehanort says that everywhere we went, we found darkness, and slowly corrupting is its nature. And Eraqus says yes. And he says that he has sort of reaffirmed his beliefs that his duty is to destroy the shadows, but only the shadows. So no Kingdom Hearts for Eraqus.
That's right.
And Xehanort says, I feel the exact same way, and I always will.
Don't pay attention to any of these flash forwards we've had.
You're not watching those, right? So Heimdall leaves them with one last thing, which is, your lives are yours to lead and not ours to judge. Follow your hearts and do what you think is right. May your heart be your guiding key. And the dead students start to fade away again. Hoder hangs back and says, Xehanort, can I have a favor? And we fade to black, of course.
Yeah.
And that's where we're stopping for this week.
Yeah, this is better. There was a big boring part in the middle where nothing happened, but this was better. The one thing, I do like it. This is interesting because we've seen Xehanort. Xehanort is somebody that like believed that there was some value in darkness,
Mm-hmm.
Although he actually did want to eliminate it by destroying the world and starting over and getting rid of weak people, which is pretty bad, but that's what he wanted to do apparently in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it all really is adding up to, as they talked about in the first part that we watched, could someone be so corrupted by darkness that they don't even know it's there? Xehanort, in his mind, he really truly was a light boy the whole time. He knew that he was using darkness, but as we've seen him say a few times when he's reflecting on the corridors of darkness, he truly believes that it doesn't affect him.
Yeah.
This darkness ain't shit, he says.
Yeah, and I do like one thing about that when they sort of talk about the darkness in the eye of the beholder, there's like a part where they talk a little bit about how like even an emotion like love or something can be like sort of bad. And I like that it's like, yeah, love can be good when you like express it in a healthy way, but it can also be darkness if it becomes like weird and obsessive, And so
right. Like, they go to Snow White and they see the prince about to kiss her, and everybody in this world is like, what a beautiful light moment of love. And they're like, that's horrible.
Right.
That guy's like 40 and she's like 12 and she's unconscious.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I do like that concept of like things that we think of as light can be dark in certain contexts or like executions. And I feel like that's one of the things they're getting at, but it is something that is somewhat undermined by other stuff that happens in these games, but I like thinking about it at least. Yeah.
As I said last time, I think it's interesting that it is definitely explaining Xehanort, but it's not justifying Xehanort. But it is really showing that truly, when all is said and done, he honestly believes that he's saving the world for the light.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about that moment in the opening of Kingdom Hearts 3 where we're getting the Utada Hikaru song, and at the very end of it, Sora like attacks Xehanort and Kingdom Hearts appears in the sky and fills the sky with light, and Xehanort looks up at it and he smiles. He thinks he's a light boy. He doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
But I'm glad he's dead.
I'm glad he's dead too. I wanted to say one quick crackpot corner that I don't believe in very strongly.
Please.
So we see that Master of Masters can make the robes of darkness, that help with darkness. Mm-hmm. And I think we've only seen one other person that actually makes them, which is Diz.
Yeah, he had it. I don't know where he got it.
Didn't he say he made it for Riku?
I mean, maybe he did. He did have one for Mickey, so I feel like he had to have made that one.
Yeah, and so I was like, is Ansem Master of Masters? I don't think so because their personalities are nothing alike, but I do wonder if Ansem at some point got access to some of Master of Masters like information.
That would be interesting, and I still believe that the Master of Masters used the Book of Prophecies to essentially steal scientific advancement from Ansem and Vexen.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do also like the idea that it's kind of cyclical and Ansem was like stealing it back somehow.
Yeah, it could be more of this time loop stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I talked about that because I think, we saw the person who looked like Strelitzia walking around. That was in the Data Daybreak Town, but then outside of it, Lushu was carrying what looked like a body. Mm-hmm. I still think that was a replica that they made by stealing Vexen's research, but I don't know. I mean, I talked before about how I think that Xigbar is a replica of Brain.
Yeah, which I could buy.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's time to dive to the wiki.
Let's do it.
We got to learn more about Marley.
Yeah, we kind of got distracted last time.
Yeah, I remember. Where were we? I remember we learned about Dr. Bobbinhead.
We did.
I remember Xemnas with his messed up white hair. My bug meant to show Marley fear, not terrify the girl and get her killed.
I think we might be, as Diz closes up all hope for Marley, maybe?
Okay. As Diz closes up all hope for Marley, he noticed she was leaving the world. He got in a panic. What am I supposed to do? He thought. So he paused her to make his choice. He needs to deal with Shion. But if Marley went outside the world, she would get deleted. He made the world from samples from the realm of nothing, so if he made it real, it would be just like Twiglight Town. He didn't truly give a crud at first. That's what we've always said about Diz.
Yeah.
I do not give a crud about nobodies. He truly didn't give a crud at first.
He didn't.
Didn't give a single crud, but now he wanted to do what was right. He turned away as he pushed the extract button to the realm of in-between. He watched in horror as his world and Marley became real right before his eyes. What are the circumstances of the deed I just did? Accidental smiley face.
Well, it might be on purpose. Look at the next sentence.
What are the circumstances of the deed I just did? He shivered in delight and fear at the same time. Oh, now she was unpaused, and for the first time she felt so real, like she was extracted from something.
She was extracted.
So true. He pushed the extract button. She went through the gate and she was out. Since she had no gummy ship, she was pulled by the closest world's gravitational force. So she was pulled to a dark and scary world.
I'll read this part even though I've read it once before because it was in that appendix.
It's important.
Yeah. As she walked in, a sign said, "Dark Society." If I'm gonna make...
The sign on the planet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that she is seeing the sign of the planet.
On the menu.
Uh-huh. If I'm going to make friends, I better... ... Whoosh! Just missed getting ran over. A man with blonde hair came on a motorcycle. He saw Marley. He took out a shadowy keyblade and commenced to fighting her. She jumped on her sword, then jumped off. I still love that. So she tried to talk, but the only thing that happened is that her antennae twitched a little. She then took out paper.
Oh, I forgot that she's a shadow heartless right now.
Yep. So she can't talk either. She then took out paper, and started to write, "Hello, please don't kill me. I've been there, done that." Zorua then said, "Okay, well, so you can talk to me. I'll go to my friend, Dr. Frinuitz."
Frinuitz. Marley sat there in wait for that man. Then the building she was sitting on, it turned to a heartless, then a skyscraper. She hit him, it scratched her. What? She clawed the small one. He bit her. She broke his windows. He used a laser beam on her. Okay, it is a skyscraper-shaped, heartless boss fight. I see.
Yeah, but there's a small one.
Yeah, the small one. Her health was low, so she broke all his light, then jumped to the skyscraper, then flushed the toilet, then they both fell down. She then leveled up by 7. That's
important to the storytelling. That's a good point.
Zorua then came back with a helmet/microphone in his hands. He fastened it on Marley, changed some languages, and she could speak human language. "So, how old are you? Are you girl or boy?" he asked. "I'm a girl, thank you, and I'm 12. "I knew that. Well, do you... do you want to be with me chasing it down Heartless and other guys?" "Sure I would." "You name is?" "Zorua." "Okay, let's go." Then they went on Zorua's motorcycle, which can fly.
Do you think Zorua is supposed to be Yozora?
I don't know. It said that he was a blonde man with a shadowy keyblade, so it could just be like basically Roxas.
Could be. All right. Well, as they travailed, Marley was happy she found a friend. A sentence all by itself. They landed in Twilight Town, then saw a infestation of Shadow and Soul Dyer Heatless in the store section. Marley sinked into the ground and went into the building. The cashier and the customers looked terrified. She started to claw them, then did a sin it to the ground. An uppercut combo!
Wait, hold on. A what? She did a sin it to the ground and uppercut.
Yeah,
maybe a sink into the ground uppercut combo. That is how the Shadow Heartless attack. They go in the ground and then pop out.
I think that's right.
Okay. She did a sin to the ground.
Yeah. For some reason, they didn't say this, but the customers looked relived. They went back to shopping.
Well, now that we know that the weird little shadow creature is fighting some of the other shadow creatures and did a sin to the ground, back to business. I love commerce.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes what looks like darkness to us is just how the world is supposed to be. The world order. Zorua jumped in from a crack in the ceiling. "We have doors, said somebody. Marley screamed, "Same to you," he replied.
I think that's Marley screaming at him.
Oh, did Zorua say, "We have doors,
No, he jumps in through a crack in the ceiling. Marley screams at him, "We have doors,
Oh, same to you, he replied. Okay.
Because she sinked into the ground to get into the building.
I think she just walked in. Oh, no, she did sink in. Yeah, okay. It's very confusing. They went on a highway.
Well, this won't be confusing.
No, they went on a highway, Cloud, on his motorcycle, and Marley running below the ground.
Wait. I think I know who Zorua is.
Yeah, it's Cloud.
They went on a highway. Cloud on his motorcycle and Marley. But maybe this was a search and replace because Cloud was spelled with an extra L there, so it didn't get caught and turned into Zorua.
I think you're right. They decided to make Cloud Strife into their OC Zorua.
Pretty good.
Below the ground, they encountered some Heartless, then Nobodies, and fought one being Twilight Thorn.
Okay.
The time now then 12 o'clock midnight in Twilight Town. They set off for the clock tower. When the two arrive, Zorua gives Marley a motion test.
Oh.
He makes her feel fear, then doubt, then happiness, then embarrassment, then regretfulness, then finally love. After that, Marley formed a crush on Zorua.
The end.
The end of the story. So sad.
I wish there was more. This is very good.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
I would love to know the emotion test. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and she's like, "Please don't." He's like, "Okay, check. I'm not gonna kill you. Yay!"
Hey,
check.
Do you want to hear something interesting?
Uh-huh.
Marley is a Kingdom Hearts Chronicles character, and all of the other Kingdom Hearts Chronicles characters are Weatherlys.
That was how I found Marley.
Yeah. This is not written by the same person, though, for sure.
I don't think so. It's completely different. Okay. There is one thing on the talk page that says, "Just so you know, I'm not done yet. I'm taking a short break. Sonic Fan 919, April 2nd, 2010.
I'm mystified, but okay.
There has been the only edit ever made to this page was the creation of the page. So, 15 years, maybe it's time to come back, Sonic Fan.
Yeah, come on. Come on the pod.
Come on the pod. Here's Sonic Fan's bio.
You're probably
I like KH very, very much. 10 billion times very. And almost played all games, so I know the KH timeline very well. This helps with some fanfiction. I also hope that I can make very good characters. So far in my head, I have Marley and Rai. But so far, only Marley has been posted up, but I'm not finished yet.
Oh. Well, you're probably an adult now, so...
I mean, unless you were 3 or younger.
Right.
I wish there was more.
Me too. All right, well, what did Donald Duck say about Marley?
Let's see. What are the circumstances of the deed I just did?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what Donald said when he thought that he killed his nephews in the one where they were playing hooky.
Right. Yeah.
Please imagine Donald Duck holding a gun as he says this.
Yeah, I always do.
This is Wish Us Duck, the segment where we try to sound like Donald Duck, grieving the unintentional murders that he just committed of his nephews. Oh. Oh.
You sounded remorseful.
It was like almost there.
Oh, pretty good.
Smiley face.
Huh. Well, true to my word, I'm not practicing, and it's been getting worse every time, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, it's all in the ear of the beholder.
That's true. That is true. What is darkness when you do Donald Duck voice?
What part of the sentence was that?
Deed I just did.
I did find that deed and did were surprisingly hard to say.
Yeah, that really killed it for me. I was doing great up to that point.
Yeah, I honestly did think so.
Oh, good. Well, maybe I'll listen back later.
Yeah, at some point I'll have to edit all of our Wish Us Duck segments together, and we can see how we both got better and better and better and better, and then worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
As anyone who has listened to my other podcasts knows, I love to say stuff like that and then not do it.
You did put all the eagle sounds in, though.
I did do that on Kyle XY.
Yep.
Yeah. Any day now, I'm definitely going to put together that 0 to 0 funny moments compilation that I threatened.
Yeah.
Wink. Well, that's it. We're on Blue Sky at Sounds About Light. I'm on Blue Sky at Posy Stress. And you're on Blue Sky at Achilles-Healy. It's not out yet,
right.
but we did just record an extra credit the other day that was
Oh, boy.
one of my favorites that I've ever done.
Well, you're responsible for it.
I like to think that I had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it's not my fault.
Okay. That's interesting.
Look forward to that. I don't know when that's coming out. We're hosted on noisepace.xyz, the podcast network where you can listen to podcasts like Diet Coke and Lilith's House of Snacks, Pod of Greed, Prime Cuts, Check Out This Guy, and Sounds About Light. I was waiting for you to say, "Hey, that's our," but you didn't say anything.
I nodded. They'll know.
I should have heard the whooshing of the wind from your vigorous nod.
That's you can just edit that in for me.
Whoosh. Well, that sounded more like a toilet flushing. Well, that's it. And like we say at the end of every episode, Keyblade.
Keyblade, but the sounds of typing out words.
Bye.
Bye.